Welcome back to another video, welcome back to another review. It's time for me to talk about a very beautiful fragrance from the house of Amouage. This is a discontinued fragrance and it's called Silverman Cologne. A fragrance that came to the market in 2002 that features a very long list of ingredients, and it's the interpretation of this house of what a cologne type of fragrance should smell. And I must say that it's quite an interesting take. You have some very good added benefits to this fragrance compared to a regular cologne, mainly the quality and the performance, which is very important because as we already know, cologne type fragrances aren't the most performing ones on the market. They do not feature great longevity, great projection, or great sillage. Let's go ahead and talk about the composition, because we have a lot of ingredients. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna smell every single note inside the composition. This only depends on your skin's chemistry, and how it interacts with the fragrance. We have orange blossom, bergamot, mandarin orange, and plum in the top notes. We have heliotrope, ylang ylang, rose, jasmine, and orchid in the heart notes. And in the base we get vetiver, incense, sandalwood, patchouli, amber, and musk. So quite a long list of ingredients, if you ask me, for a cologne type of fragrance. But do I get all the notes? Of course not. What do I get on my skin? Well, I get the citruses, but not for a very, very long time. They are basically there just to introduce you to the perfume. And afterwards, I get the floral bouquet. Because this and the vetiver and musk are actually the main accords of this fragrance, or at least on my skin. Those flowers inside the heart notes combined with the vetiver and with the musk are there from start till end. They are the main accord. They create the main accord, and it's basically everything that I get every single time that I wear this fragrance. This is a fragrance best suited for warmer and hot weather, although in my honest opinion I would not have any kind of problems in wearing this one throughout the year. This is very versatile, this is very flexible. You can wear this one even casually if you like, but mostly semi-formal, which makes it great for an office environment, for example, and also, considering the specific, even to some formal events, some very important, I don't know, meetings and whatnot. Therefore, it's quite versatile. Let's talk about the composition. It starts off with a huge blast of citruses, out of which the bergamot and the mandarin are the main accords on my skin, accompanied by the soapiness of the orange blossom. I don't really get plum. I do have a small hint of licorice, if you want, inside the opening, but not very dominant. Actually, it's almost non-existent, if you want. And afterwards, I get a huge dose of heliotrope combined with rose and with jasmine. The ylang ylang and the orchid are there only to support these three floral notes, the main ones. They don't really do anything else in the composition. And right afterwards, the background, you start feeling the vetiver, which is very green, very refreshing, very sunny, I would say. It isn't your dark type of vetiver. It isn't, I don't know, Java vetiver, for example, which is very dark, very smoky at the same time, and of which I'm not a really big fan. So this is, I think, at least this is my opinion, this is Tahitian vetiver, because this is the specific of that ingredient. And you also get there a huge dose of musk. And this combined gives you a huge vibe of freshness. It's very cooling at the same time. It's also very uplifting and also very elegant in a very masculine way. Because first of all, this is a fragrance made for men. And you also get a huge feeling that you sniffed this type of thing somewhere else sometime, and you wouldn't be wrong. Why? Because this one quite resembles a lot of fragrances from the macho era of masculine perfumery, when you had fragrances that basically came with almost identical composition, with similar ingredients and also a similar vibe. But this one lacks the animalic, let's say, part from those fragrances. So it does have that, and it will sound very, very bad, old man smell. But it isn't an old man smell. It's just a mature, elegant feeling that you get due to the somewhat familiar similarities and comparisons that you may make with other fragrances from a long, long time ago. Very interesting take on a cologne type of fragrance from the house of Amouage. When it comes to performance, this is a very good contender, at least compared to other fragrances in the same ballpark with the same interpretation, not really compared with other fragrances from the house of Amouage, but still this isn't bad at all. I usually get about 8 to 10 hours of longevity on my skin with very good projection and very good sillage, especially in hot summer days. Because I wore this one in extremely high temperatures, especially throughout my summer holiday, being in Greece, where temperatures were above 40 degrees Celsius, and I was very happy to wear Silverman cologne on my skin and also on my clothing. Because, as I said, this is very refreshing. It's very uplifting. It does have a very dominant sentiment of cleanliness. Therefore, it's something you really enjoy, especially in hot summer days with high temperatures, with high humidity, when the sun is up in the sky. And the only thing that you want is to have a breeze of fresh air, something refreshing. And this is the case with Silverman Cologne. From where I stand, it isn't the best creation from the house of Amouage, but it isn't the worst. It's a very good creation, if you ask me. It isn't the most unique one. That's actually the problem with Silverman Cologne. But as I said, Amouage didn't want to reinvent the wheel with this one. They just wanted to give their idea of what a cologne type of fragrance should smell and also perform. And I consider they achieved this very, very well. If you ask me, I highly recommend the fragrance, especially if you love this type of fragrances, especially if you love this type of compositions. And also keep in mind, because I've said it many years ago, for me at least, Amouage is the only fragrance house, and it's the best fragrance house when it comes to floral fragrances for men. I know a lot of people consider florals to be feminine and whatnot. Okay, you should give a try to Amouage and see what a floral for men means. Lyric man, Dia man, what else? Okay, silver cologne for men, gold man for that matter, Meats man, how about that one? And so many, many others. They simply know how to make floral fragrances that are exquisite, but for men. I highly recommend it, give it a try, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.